So what's the Get Down?
Hip hop culture lifestyle show.
Yo,
What's happening?
here we are again. You tell me.
What's the Get Down is that Porsha Coleman.
The homie.
Yeah.
That's my girl, man.
You know, she stopped by and she had a lot to say. Some of it was more emotional because, you know, she really doesn't talk like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But she did want, you know, she felt some stuff in her heart that she needed to get off. So this right here is going to be a very interesting episode.
Well, let's kick it off.
All right, so
Porsha
I think
Coleman.
everybody should tune in. Check it out. Understand? We're here with the incomparable, the most hardest working woman in the business. You know, Mrs. Dynamite, Miss Porsha Coleman.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? I love it. That was a good intro. That was like,
welcome.
that was good.
I mean, think about it. You have to have your own theme music. So we wanted to make sure you had your own theme music with that one. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. They don't know.
In my head, like I know the song of my theme music. I know Smooth knows the song that I would have as my theme music, but I'll tell y'all in a little bit what that song is. I want y'all to try to guess what that could be, and then I'll tell you, and you're probably gonna be like, what? No way. I already know you will.
So how you been though?
I've been good. It's been like 5 months of like, what is going on in the world? But, you know, at some point you gotta figure it out and say, all right, this is what's happening and roll with it. So I've taken a lot of time and been really creative. Like I said, you've gotta really figure out ways to be self-contained right now, especially with the way things are going. Entertainment is technically shut down. Some stuff is coming back, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be the same. Like I've had 3 Zoom auditions, call back for a commercial on Zoom.
But wait.
Yeah.
Before you go further, what was
course.
that like though, just from the Zoom standpoint?
Oh, different, but I actually really liked it. It was like the night before they sent you the actual audition so you could prepare for it. So that never happens at commercial castings. Usually you get it right before you walk in the room and you're like, okay, what do I got to do? So to have it a day before and to know that you log on at a certain time, wait a little queue, and then it's your turn. I love the control. I had no shoes on, had my outfit from here up. It was great. I was like, this is good. No Hollywood traffic. It was good. It really was. It's gonna be different now that stuff is coming back, because they already said some stuff is just gonna be Zoom until it's the day of filming. So we're kind of going through that right now with this other show that I'm on. So I have my first Zoom table read tomorrow.
So is it the comfortability that you like about the Zoom readings or the Zoom auditions, or is it more of, I don't have to drive in this LA traffic?
Oh, it's more that. To me, either way, if you're not comfortable in front of a camera, you ain't gonna make it. So I'm comfortable in any setting, no matter where it is. But the fact that I could control, you know, getting up, knowing all I gotta do is flip the camera on and log in, it was so easy. It wasn't the whole preparation of an hour beforehand where you got to get things together. You got to plan on where you're going to park. You got to make sure, you know, what time zone for the meters. Like, it's a lot if you live in LA. And I'm born and raised out here, so I'm used to it. But at some point you get like tired when they have a 4 o'clock casting right in Santa Monica, knowing good and well they could have had you audition earlier, but it's late and you just have to plan around all that kind of stuff. So now it's like, playing around logging on Zoom, that's easy. So I like it.
But see, now that you've taken more control of a lot of the things that you do,
right,
ownership and stuff like that, how does that work out during, you know, this time? Like you said, these 5 months have been, man.
It's been good. Like I said, I built a home studio. I got a closet that I converted, and it's a padded vocal booth. It's a whole studio. I engineer myself in there, so I have a lot of voiceovers that I do, and I can hop right in there. Mic is here, hit it, and I'm sending mastered demos of stuff. Like, it's amazing. So I think even though that was where I was going, I really had a chance to just do it now that I had nowhere to go. You know, because in LA there's always somewhere to go. So, you know, you get tired of going to meetings, or you have to go, you know, to events or red carpets. And this point now it's just like, oh, I can just sit here and actually plan to do this, right? It's been good. For the first 2 months it was confusing though, I'll tell you that. It was like, what do you mean I don't have any auditions? Like, I don't understand. There's no red carpets to go to. Like, stuff was just literally shut down. And then the stay-at-home order. So, like I said, at first it was weird, but now I got the hang of it. And if you haven't got the hang of it, then you need to, because it might be a while before we're really up and running like we're used to. I think it's going to be, middle 2021, to be honest. I mean, big concerts, different stuff like that. It's going to be a while.
So I'm back on this whole, you're engineering.
Yes.
And you're doing, so we gotta see some photos of this new studio.
Right, I got you.
Is it sparkly and all of that?
No, it's not sparkly. I know, right? No, I'm all about the glitter. I am all about the glitter. No, it's not sparkly and glittery, but I will tell you, it's magically lit up. Oh. I'll tell you, it's only one light because I have Alexa controls pretty much my whole house. So if I say Alexa light blue, light's blue. If I say Alexa light red, it's red. I say if it's green, any color I want it to be, any mood. So it's perfect for what I want it to be. Like I was doing something earlier and the color was red. I'm like, let's do this red. And then, the other day I was like, I smell some money. So it was green. You know what I'm saying? It just depends. So it's been really cool getting used to being self-contained. I've been that way anyway. I mean, anybody that really knows me knows how tech I am. I've always been doing my own reels. For over 10 years, I've edited my own stuff. I've mastered things. I've done that. And I really am the computer nerd. Like, it's like people think, I don't look like a computer nerd, but I'm quick to open a computer just to put it back together and figure out where stuff goes. I built like 2 of these consoles in my house. Like, I'm really that girl. Actually, yeah.
So, is Porsha Coleman saying that she's a geek? Is that what she's
Yeah, I am. Like, I really am. Because I like, and that's sad they call geeks like tech people, but it's like if I'm techie, if I know computers, if I know phones, softwares, and all this stuff that's considered nerdy, then yes, I am exactly that girl. I got the swag.
So this is really.
But I'm saying. It's a bunch of the swaggy nerds.
All right,
absolutely. But here's the difference, though. It's like, does a nerd like do something like that and then twerk? Probably not. But see, I'll give you that. At least you know what I'm saying, so that I make up for it.
Okay, it balances out. I got
balance. There's always a balance in life. Yes.
What? That is interesting, right?
Got to.
So I know there has to be some photos. How you started. From the beginning to the end. We're gonna have to let somebody see what this.
We have to.
Non-sparkly, just lit up.
It's all good. I got you. I'll take a picture and send it to you. The beginning, like you said, to me, it's like. I've been doing this so long. I was 7 years old when I did my first acting job. So this has been a long time in the making, full of stuff. I mean, I was singing and dancing at the age of 5. Actually, earlier. I mean, my mom, if she was right here, she'd say, oh no, she was singing in her car seat at 2 years old to Anita Baker, Charlie Wilson, all these people. And she was like, you could sing and remember lyrics before you could even really talk. Like I was always just wanting to remember lyrics. And even now when I really think about it, I know so many songs. I'm talking about top to bottom, ad-libs, keys, everything. Like I've just always been that kind of retainer of information. And I think that's what really helps you in the acting world, because if you have to remember lines and hit a mark, and then you got to remember, what the next scene is and how to carry it over. It's like, it's a lot of work, but memory is where it first starts. If you can't remember your lines, then yeah, you might want to find something else to do.
Ooh.
It's like, you have to find what works for you. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if I was to quit today, I think there's one profession that I think I might thrive in, just because I've booked several roles as this kind of character. I've had a wide variety. I'll tell you the variety. I've had the variety from being a drug addicted mother all the way to the love interest girl. But the one that I get cast for quite often is the role of a stripper. So you know what I'm saying? I feel like I know where my calling is. If I just say, you know what? Industry shut down. It's about time to hit the pole. Technically, you know what I'm saying, OnlyFans is moving right now. Like so many people are on it now. It's like, I mean, I know a ton of friends that are on it. So I know a couple of them I subscribe to just to see like what's happening. And I've seen, honestly, a variety of stuff. It's really not all nudity and stripping. Not 99.9%, but there is a 1% in there where it's like, oh, that's nice. Okay, that's not too bad. But I'm talking about people that I was surprised to see stuff from. I was like, Oh, word?
Yeah, that's
Like, yo, Instagram is one way.
Yeah.
Go to their OnlyFans. I'm like, I'm doing this. Like, like it's a whole new ball game. I think now there's really like no limits or no restrictions on certain stuff. You know, I don't even know if there's really going to be judgment. If this stuff goes on for another year, people start going to OnlyFans and doing whatever they want to do for fans that are really fans of theirs. What are people going to say and do? You know what I'm saying? 30 years ago or 20 years ago, someone that had, you know, a porn tape and that had this kind of reputation would have never turned into a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Because they judge stuff like that. So now you got to think of the wave of how stuff is going. It's like, okay, so strippers are winning and these kind of people are winning. It's like, do what you got to do to get ahead is what it seems like, you know? So listen, if you have a fan base and audience, do what you do. You know, anybody to me that's going to buy your brand and your product, that is a fan, truly. So just know that it might get downloaded or shared or talked about, but nowadays in our world, people don't really care about that. So even if you look at male rappers, let's look at how they used to look back in the day compared to how they look now.
Right.
You know, Nas, LL, Talib, like those guys look one way, and now we've got the Lil Yachty's and we got the Uzis and we got other cats that are being expressive in their own right and doing what they want to do. So it's kind of like I don't really feel like there's any restrictions anymore. So going back to, let's say, the women being just the stay-at-home wives and not having careers, or the men just being the breadwinners and they're, you know, bossing people around and everything is run by men. It's like stuff is really changing. So I kind of like that it's more balanced at this point, because to me, talent should be your talent, and your gender and your status, your sexuality, whatever you want it to be, it shouldn't hinder your talent and who you are as a person, because that's what it's about.
Well, how has it affected you personally, you know, going through all this?
Of course. You know, the interesting thing about it right now is so many people are really realizing, I think, the greatness of Black people. I'm not even going to say Black women or Black men, just people of color. They're starting to really notice and take our opinions and our words and our issues to heart. Because I mean, when you turned on the news and saw all the protests, when you saw everything, there was a lot of white people. There was a ton of other races that were out there fighting for us. Every day I still drive by this place not too far from my house. Every single day there are 3 to 5 people there that are not Black with Black Lives Matter signs talking about, let's not forget, hashtag Breonna Taylor, hashtag, you know, like, hello, you know, it's like, wow, stuff is changing in a way that is really good. And even now, so much Black content, shows are looking for our opinions, they're looking for our writing, they're looking for our look. It's so funny that, of course, Black is a look per se, but that's really kind of what's happening right now. It's like if there's no Black person on a show, it's like, what's going on? That's a problem. People are upset by it. Versus before, how, there was only one. Like I remember going to auditions, gosh, since I was young, where it's like, all right, so we got the cast and here you go. It's you. You're the only one there. So I think now it's beautiful to see shows where there are 2 or 3 Black women or Spanish women or Filipinos. It's like now it's really coming across that when you go outside, you see all kinds of races and not just the one token. And that's how they portrayed us. So now it's really good that we are popping, I guess. They like to say popping, so we popping. I definitely think it's sustainable. When you look at the market and look at the buying power of Black people, we have more power than we even believe. You know, the days when we said blackout, you know, don't buy anything that's not from a Black-owned company. When we say, we're not going to support this, when we come together, we are so powerful. And I believe that we needed this kind of, I'm not going to say jumpstart, because at the end of the day, what happened to George Floyd was absolutely sickening. And just like anybody watching the TV, you're just sitting there dumbfounded as to how humans can do this to another human. And they released other footage about how it started all the way to the end. And not only was he apologetic, not only was he innocent of what was going on, it was just like, everybody felt the pain and the hurt of someone dying there on the street like that. So, you know, I think at this point, it's really a matter of sticking together, because we have a tendency to not do that in our own community, whether we like it or not. You look in Chicago and people are killing each other left and right. Police are already doing that, so why are we doing that? Like, come on, you know? So when you really see it for what it is, our power is unbelievable.
You know something? I'm still tripping off the fact that this girl is a nerd. You can't be a nerd and be cute, or is that? Nah, I take that back. You can be a nerd and be cute, huh? Because it was a female rocket scientist, literally beautiful sister, and she was 4.0. She was like, you know, the top of her class and all of that. So I guess that.
So yes, it is possible, black women, you can have beauty and brains. Who knew? That's what it is. That's that black girl magic, baby. Oh,
I see what you up to.
Speaking of which, who we got next?
Oh, see, now we're gonna go ahead and talk about some real stuff. So we wanted to go ahead and make sure that everybody understood that we care about what's going on in this world also. So this is why we tapped into Rhonda Bean, who is over the health department in county jail. So a lot of people are saying a lot of different things and about how the prisoners are dying, how they're being treated. So she touches on a few things, and she's gonna come back and explore more, just to help everybody, understand and to get through. So we're gonna tap into that right now. Rhonda Bean, let's get serious with it.
I'm Rhonda Bean. I am the Chief of Clinical Operations for LA County Jails. I've been there for about 3 years as a part of LA County Department of Health Services. I'm responsible for clinical operations, meaning I make sure as far as regulatory requirements that the inmates are receiving proper health care according to state and federal regulations. I manage budget, buy equipment, manage construction projects, overall attending to the care of the inmates according to Title 15. About 3 years ago, Department of Health Services took over managing the health care of the inmates from the Sheriff's Department. And so one of the things that we are trying to blend along with the requirements of Title 15 are Title 22 requirements, which are the healthcare-based requirements. So with medication management, access to healthcare services, mental health services, and we also have bridge or linkage programs where we're providing services for them once they go back with re-entry back into the streets. So that's what I do. So in the state of California, if you have a sentence that is 6 years and under, you stay within the jail system, which is managed by the County of Los Angeles or the county that you're in. If your sentence is higher than that, you go to a state prison. So they're run by two different entities. One is state, one is county. Depending upon which county you're in, it's managed by that county or a different one. So for Los Angeles County, all of the jails that we're responsible for have sheriffs. In other areas, they have their different sheriff departments, depending upon which county it is. And then you have your local precincts that feed into the jails once they're processed in. So here in Los Angeles, it is the sheriff's department. We test all incoming inmates. When they enter into it, this area is called the Inmate Reception Center, IRC. We test everyone who comes into the IRC. And we test symptomatic patients. So if you say, for instance, you've been housed in the jail for 5 years, you've been there, maybe you had access to, or you ran into an inmate that was just processed in and they went into your housing unit, and then you got exposed and we find out that you're a person under investigation, which we call PUI, you then get moved to PUI housing. So until we get a confirmatory test, you're not sent to quarantine housing. So there are two different persons under investigation, PUI housing. So that means you've been exposed. We don't know if you're positive or not, but the group that when someone tests positive for COVID, we have public health employees, public health nurses, other physicians and providers tracing who that person had contact with. All of those inmates become PUI because we know there's one positive. So the positive goes to quarantine with other positives. The ones under investigation go to PUI housing because at that time we now know that you've exposed to the person. We don't know if you have it or not, so we won't put you in quarantine housing because we know they're positive. We'll put you under investigation or the PUI housing until your testing comes back confirmed.
What happens to those that are positive?
The inmates that are positive are monitored daily, several times a day. If they become symptomatic, so there's asymptomatic and there's symptomatic. There are patients who, I refer to them as patients, even though they are inmates, because as far as I'm concerned, on the medical side, they're a patient when we're treating them. So we don't refer to them as inmates. But when they become positive, they're monitored by the medical staff. If they become symptomatic, which means showing signs of symptoms, or if they're asymptomatic, which is no signs of symptoms, they're housed in the same place, but they're treated differently. Once you become symptomatic, we have to, make sure that your health doesn't decline. So they get chest x-rays for screening. If they become so symptomatic that we're not able to manage their care, meaning they need a higher level of care, they get transferred to LAC-USC or any other accepting facility that has a bed. So I'm going to step back and just explain to you how COVID is affecting the community and why when Governor Newsom says wear your mask, wear your mask. So we opened up, people went out, probably sooner than they should have. They weren't abiding by social distancing and coverings, face coverings. And so the numbers started to have an uptick. We started to get more symptomatic people in the community. And so what that means is that they have to be tested. You have more people in the community that have symptoms or think they're positive or who have been exposed to someone positive. They have to go get a test. Where are those tests processed? They're processed by Quest, different lab companies. So there's several lab companies that they get processed by. They get overwhelmed because now a lot of people in the community have it or need to be tested. So they start sending their tests to the largest lab that can manage the capacity, which is Quest. So now Quest has longer turnaround times, including the other labs. The jails, because it's congregate housing, are priority one. We have a level 1 priority for our testing, meaning anybody who has a test coming in, if they see a test coming from LA County jails, it gets pushed to the front. Well, now our level 1 priority turnaround time has gone from a certain couple hours, 15 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, to now 6-7 days. So it doesn't matter what you do for testing if I can't get the results back and you get released because you just got picked up on a traffic violation. There's nothing that I can do about it. We have tracers and we have public health nurses that reach out to the Department of Public Health so that we can find you. But the issue is that a lot of the inmates that come into the facility are homeless. They don't have contact information. They get out, they get lost. So we do our best in tracing. One of the things that we are working very diligently on is getting on-site rapid testing. Unfortunately, when the healthcare services were managed by the sheriffs, at some point they lost their license to be a CLIA lab, a CLIA licensed lab, which means they could run moderate to complex equipment. But as a waived testing lab, it's just like your community doctor who has like a little small bench that he tests your blood or pregnancy test. Some of those equipment we can't run. So we have been working with different vendors to bring someone on site so that anyone who comes through the IRC, that we test them and get those results back within 5 to 6 hours. That will help alleviate it. But even in that case, say for instance, someone has been there for 3 years. The judge decides to release them from the courts and they were tested before they left. There's nothing that we can do about it because the courts released them. So we don't have a chance to get the results back to them, but they do have tracers and they do the best they can to get the results back. It is the numbers and that happens is minimal, but it happens. But it's the process of how testing works. So when you tell people to social distance, cover your face, we want to keep the numbers down. It not only overloads the hospitals, it overloads the companies that manage the testing. The FDA is giving emergency approvals for equipment, and that's great, but a lot of the equipment that they gave approvals for don't have great specificity or sensitivity. So the sensitivity that you're looking for in the equipment to make sure that when you test someone, if they're positive, say for instance they were just exposed maybe 5 days ago, the viral load needs to be enough that when you swab them, it picks it up. That's the sensitivity piece. The specificity piece is when I say that you're positive, you are actually positive. Or if I say you're negative, you're actually negative. So some of those tests, what happens is that when inmates test positive, they do their 14-day quarantine, we're going to pull them out of quarantine housing. Say for instance, they're going to get released the next day. So we run that test to make sure that they're negative, but we have to do a confirmatory test for negative. And then they get released before we get the confirmatory results back, and it comes back positive. So there are different scenarios in how they can be released and be positive. It's just not one simple answer. I have been a healthcare provider or healthcare executive since I was 13. I knew that I wanted to do this. I told my godmother, I want to work in healthcare, but I don't want to work as hard as my sister, who was a radiation therapist. I said, but I want to be in healthcare. And she said, oh, you want to be a healthcare executive. So every summer from the age of 19 until the age of 27, when I started my residency at Parkland Hospital, I knew I wanted to be a healthcare executive. This is what I do because it is a part of who I am. I'm not doing this for the dollar. I'm not doing this for the status. I'm doing this because I really want people of color to have better healthcare status. And it's not always about the clinicians. It's about the people in the boardroom who fight for the things that you know that community needs, that people who don't look like me don't necessarily understand. Like when we build a new clinic, like when we rebuilt MLK, we rebuilt it and knew that you can't have rooms small. Like the clinical rooms, like the exam rooms, they bring in 5 people. So we need to have seating outside here so that they can come. Little things like that make a difference. So that's who I am. I mean, it's not all who I am, but as far as being a healthcare executive, this is something I was born to do. It's my gift. So God gave me an administrative gift, and I chose healthcare to display it.
I'm not letting you leave out of here before you gonna slide that little party in about what you did for MLK. Explain what you did before you leave.
I was the Chief Operations Officer for MLK, which is the old King Drew Medical Center. And it's not Killer King, but some of y'all referred to it as that. But we went, when I showed up at MLK, it was a shuttered facility. They were closing. The healthcare regulatory agencies were like, you guys are done. And so between myself and the several CEOs that I had, we decided that it wasn't done. And we ended up transitioning them to a MAC, which is a very large specialty and subspecialty ambulatory care center. We ended up reopening a hospital. It's a public-private partnership with UC Regents, and we opened a new clinic. But we kept services in that community. So yeah.
Why did you guys take the trauma unit?
So
because that was the #1 trauma unit.
It was. Right? It was. So
watch, y'all heard that.
So this is the issue that happened when you close a hospital or you take out the acute beds. It's now political about how you get them back. Can you have a trauma unit? Clearly, trauma beds are needed in that community. But getting that license back after there was so many egregious things that happened is difficult. But even more so, it's expensive to have trauma beds. So you have to come up with the money. And they don't build hospitals like they used to, where you have 700 beds, 1,000 beds. They don't build those anymore. So bringing trauma beds back to that community would probably take more resources than I knew that we had at the time. But my charge was, I don't get to decide what we get back. I just get to decide how to make what we're getting back the best that we could have.
You learn anything?
A whole lot. Like, I did not know about we know about treatment of black folks in general, but kind of take it from that angle and to kind of see what's really going on behind the walls. Man, we got a lot of fights ahead of us, and bigger fights than I ever would imagine that we had.
So we're gonna have Rhonda come back and tap in on more stuff. We want to make sure.
So we should be bringing her back like on a periodic basis, man, because it just seems like there's so many things, even what's going on now, to know that we have a big fight ahead of us. So we're gonna need her.
Let's do it.
Coming in from time to time.
Let's do it. Right here on What's the Get Down, we have what is known as an assassin. And he's been an assassin for many, many, many years, a lyrical assassin. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and have a discussion with the man himself on What's the Get Down. Welcome Mr. Razzcast himself.
Thanks for having me.
The true assassin, the true lyrical assassin.
Razzassination, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Razzmatazz. All right. So this is what I wanted to go ahead and talk to, because me and you, we talk about this a lot, but I really think the people should hear it.
Okay.
So everybody gets West Coast hip hop confused with gangster rap or
Right.
just the Bay.
Right.
Or even, you know what I'm saying, me down south in Dago or something like that. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about this West Coast hip hop. What's West Coast hip hop?
It's kind of this nebulous thing that formed. I would say it really, really got its roots in the housing era. That's what we call the dancing, like, the b-boying. We call it housing out here for some reason. I wanted to rhyme already. But I started from the housing days, and then obviously we had our pioneers, the Ice-T's and the Everlast and all these other brothers that was coming out. But our take on it was a lot. I think the home of it was kind of Unity, but it existed before. Rest in peace, Bigger B, and shouts Orlando. They provided us with a venue and like something that was really b-boy 90s era culture in real time, and so there was that kind of a beeline where some things were like gangster, some people were a little more obviously you had mainstream stuff, so in that time period you'd have your people that were being a little more hammer, whatever, that it was that a little more commercial, and then there was these kids that kind of rolled this, and then there was like the far side-ish, a little more. Man, I can't think of the right word for it. And there's no disrespect. It was just all these little splinters of interpretation. A little more, hippie, flower power, nicer. Right. And then you had like the Us, which was, the badasses and the freestyle fellowships where dudes is about skills and lyrical, but half these fools is gangbanging. Like hip hop has just pulled them out of the hood because they have a new passion, but they really from the jungles or really from, their neighborhood, and that's kind of what brought us together, was that love for the real hip hop culture. Or 90s aesthetic b-boy lyrics, not overly stereotypical to G-funk beats. But we were fighting.
That all of these dudes are from somewhere, they really gang, but they lyrical cats. So how does that work out as far as, you guys didn't rap gangster?
And that was the ironic part. So it kind of would sometimes play out where it felt almost as if the gangster rappers were doing a parody of these lyrical dudes that didn't want to promote that.
Right.
That was trying to find a better way and a positive expression, but not too positive. So everybody was lyrical, but still kind of tripping in the rhymes and still get beat up in the club, all that. So we were that weird middle, you know. And yeah, you know, like Freestyle Fellowship, you know, dudes was active, so, you know, and yeah, man, it's just crazy to me. Like, like even with my music, you know, I grew up in a certain neighborhood, you know, went to juvenile hall, YA. Overly, I wasn't trying to promote that. That wasn't my sale. You know, I was trying to talk about doing better than you know. I felt like to a certain degree, everybody kept having the same narrative. Oh, boy from the hood, it's hard in the hood. Yeah. Growing up in the hood was hard. And the homie like me, and then the chick 6'4". I'm like, bro, like, I get it. We all been there, done that. Like, you know, like, tell me how to get out of that, you know? Give me some inspiration, you know? And what it was is my homie said it to me one time. He was like, but, you know, me as a New Yorker, that's what, the dude, he's from New York, I'm from LA. But clearly. You see this taco on this motherfucker? Yeah, but you know, that stigma and stereotype, that trope, the G-Funk, the Jerry Curl, the 6'4" hopping, white people bought that shit like pancakes. And then other black people from around them. So my New York homeboy once said, and this was like fast forward in like 2005, he was like, I like to believe it's like that. It's just I'm fascinated by it. It looks, you know, it looks well on the screen, and I don't want to believe that people talk like you and dress regular. Because, so just imagine when a black dude from New York is saying that, what these, you know, Europeans, these people that buy into it, like, yeah, we're all like that. And obviously when a company's making a lot of money from selling that, they're pretty resistant to not selling that. Right, they're just like, no, this makes us a lot of money, so do that, or we don't really want to deal with you. So yeah, man, that was the journey of it, man. You know, some people made it through. It destroyed some people. You know, some very talented people never really got the opportunities because the labels were completely closed mind. I would say, you know, the Will.I.Ams, like, you know, when you think of Will.I.Am, people think of Black Eyed Peas, but Eazy-E signed them, so they were at Band Clan. They was on some hip hop shit, signed to Ruthless first. And
a lot of people don't know that Will can bar up like real.
Yeah, he can rhyme, and you know, the only difference was I had a white girl. So a whole lot of different kind of records. So I ain't mad at it.
So let me ask you that. All right, so you be talking about Will.I.Am. All right, so what about your other, you know, gangster MCs and everything like that? Because I know you did, you know, some of their music.
Yeah, man.
You'll lay some verses. So we're not making it sound like that, but
yeah,
we hip hop heads. So you'll lay a joint with Will.I.Am, but do you feel that the joint that you lay over here with the gangster rap, you feel it's at the same level? Yeah,
man. I mean, I grew up and I could talk the talk. I had to walk the walk.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just, look, man, I've never said I gangbang, not in a record, and not in the streets.
Right.
I never said I sold dope. I said my cousin and my homies do. So I just try to keep it honest to myself. You know, I have possibly said I'll shoot you. I have tried. So I talk about shit that I'm relegated to doing, and so, you know, and honestly, you know, being gangster ain't at its finest. Being gangster is just the code of the streets.
Yes, sir.
Mind your own business.
Yes, sir.
Don't fuck with nobody. Don't let nobody walk over you. You know, handle your business, you know, and get your money.
Yes, sir.
Don't, in general, I'm not homophobic, but it's not a big thing to be sucking on niggas' dicks. So that there's some gender, there's some gender shit about it and all that. So, you know, for me, that's easy. That's the code I was taught. You know, my father didn't teach me this shit. The homies did, growing up in Watts. So, I mean, for me, it's second nature to mind my own business. Can't let I'm a short nigga, couldn't let niggas punk me all day, so I had to have a lot of fights. You know, shit, watch babies walk on their hands all the goddamn time, flipping off roofs and shit, so I was super athletic. You know, it betrays me now, but nigga, everybody ran around huff. You know what I'm saying? I'm no different. I'm just like everybody else. I'm not unique in that sense. And you know, and just sticking to the script. Yeah, so I mean, when I get on a gangster rapper record, I'm gonna bar out the same way I bar out on a backpack record and pretty much say the same shit. It takes a lot more energy to be anti something than it is to just be pro whatever. So I'm not like anti bitch nigga. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm just pro real nigga. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any particular feelings about what the next man do. Jay-Z kind of coined a great phrase, what you eat don't make me shit. So I have to focus on what I'm doing. I really enjoy this culture. Somebody had asked me a question. They were from Europe on the gram, and I wrote him back, and instead of writing like a short answer, I actually wrote a really well thought out answer to the dude. And what I explained to him was, he was like, if America's mistreating black people, he wasn't trying to be rude. He's like, why don't y'all leave? And then I had to explain, like, you know, my people, you know, Benjamin Banneker designed the city of Washington, D.C. A black man did that. Then my people bled building it. And then, you know, and then after they tried to eradicate us, I also went on to say my people were the priesthood of the Mayans. We rode currents for tens of thousands of years from the west coast of Africa to Florida, trading and marrying back and forth. The Califians, the state we in right now, my nigga, all native black African tribes. So I was like, I ain't going no fucking where. I am home.
Indeed.
I'm not going nowhere. And so, you know, it's that kind of pride that like hip hop created. Like, the shit that my people been through created this hip hop shit that I fell in love with and gave me a job. Right. And gave me these experiences, and I got to meet Tupac, and I got to meet Big Pun, and you know what I'm saying, and you know, Big L and DJ Premier and Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, and like this crazy ass, you know, this crazy journey, man, for being a fan to being a part of this culture. You know, and you're always a part, but to actually actively have a voice in it. I will leave a mark in it when it's all said and done. You know,
you have?
I have already, but motherfuckers try to play dumb like I'm not the best nigga or one of the top best niggas. So I'm gonna have the gun. I'm still here to burn niggas down for that.
Well, let's speak on that.
Yeah.
That way I'm gonna let you speak. Say what you need to say. You birthed the style, correct? Am I correct with that? You birthed the style that you have, correct?
I mean, I'm an amalgamation. We all are but I sound like me. I never rap like anybody else.
All right. So
other niggas rap like me.
So you birthed the style, correct?
Other niggas took parts of me. Yes.
There we go. Can we get like kind of a little bit of a list? Just so that people can kind of understand.
I mean, I will say this because it's his admission.
Yes, sir.
One of the nicest things Royce 5'9" will always say is, hey man, and you know, M is older than me, but you know, one of the nicest things he'll still say to this day is, hey man, Solo Nights came out, me and him bought it and rapped like Razzcast for a year. That, you know, I've influenced some of the greats. You know, KRS-One was just on with Fat Joe, like people that influenced me, and he there's very few and only one on the West, and he said me, and I was like, wow, like, you know, that's my hero. So I have influence, but still, motherfuckers try to sweep me under the rug. I'm your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, or your favorite rapper's worst nightmare, depending on if they see me as the threat. I just was writing a rhyme. I just said, like, you know, I'm better looking, my nastier bars, bigger cock. I dress better. I'm educated and respected in the streets. Everything these niggas not.
I dig that.
So, yeah, I'd be scared of me too. I'd be trying to act like I don't exist. But I do, and that's the problem. And I'm gonna fuck niggas off bar or bar until God take the breath out of my lungs. Niggas will respect the bars. Fuck that West Coast shit. I ain't the best on the West, nigga. I'm one of the best rappers ever, period.
Indeed.
Ever.
I see you.
Cause my pen, and I care.
Yes, sir.
And I care, and I got something to prove. And when you name these other rap niggas, you know, no disrespect to Kendrick or Eminem or Jay-Z or Nas or whatever, because I'm a fan of them also. But any nigga that go play a two-man sport and want to come in second is an idiot. I don't play that kind of game. I play for first, period. So everybody, I feel like I'm better than them, period. That's just what it is. You're supposed to think that. But I really feel like I can back it up. I feel like I could beat any rapper, period. Bar for bar, lyric for lyric, you put us in there and write, I'll gun your favorite rapper. That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's
No ego, no ego. It's just real confidence.
Nah, that's coming from the West Coast. You got a project getting ready to come.
Yeah, so once again, this culture of ours, you know, they took the school programs, they took the music programs out of the schools, and so the inner city, you know, we didn't have that. One day, you know, Kool Herc's sister bought him 2 turntables or something to that effect,
Right.
or a mixer. I forgot what it was. Yeah. So shouts out to Kool Herc's sister for one. We give him a lot of credit, but his big sister really was the mother of the, you know,
Now dig that.
of the art form. Mm-hmm. Bought her little brother turntable, and he decided to keep playing one part on both records, and basically created the loop, the break.
Right.
The loop then creates the MC, and changed the fucking world.
Yes, it did.
And so I say all that to say this. My next project is called I Ain't Clearing Shit. So I just wanted to take, you know, because a lot of the more famous artists, well, let me backtrack. So what that does is EPMD, Chuck, Public Enemy, Ice Cube, everything we ever heard, I'm Your Pusher, Ice-T, everything was records. Niggas was taking, but it wasn't no laws about sampling back then. So niggas could take whatever. You could dream the impossible dream and loop it and kill it. MC8, DJ Quick, like everybody looped all our favorite records in rap. Shit was straight loops. I mean records, we was taking records. Smooth Operator, whatever, we can go on. I'm not playing, I just crush a lot, fucking whatever. Brother's Got a Baby. I'm gonna keep going. But niggas lost that essence because they became overly businessmen.
Right.
So now everybody wants to replay shit. The trap shit, they trained your ear to want to just hear like this redundant shit that sounds the same. Like sometimes I can't tell which, like there's no variety in rap. And the other part is that, you know, some of our more successful artists are being businessmen and they don't want to clear samples, but it's like, bro, you know, sometimes the music suffers because you're being too strategic as a businessman. So I just wanted to bring it back to the essence of the culture. I can't clear these motherfucking records that I'm sampling, but fuck it. I'm still, that don't mean they ain't a dope sample and we can't enjoy making some dope shit out of it. So I just made it. The odds are, you know, it ain't going on iTunes because I can't sell it, but I don't give a fuck. I just wanted to make some dope shit with some of these loops. I'm just on my own shit, man. And then
that's dope though.
Yeah, man. We crushed a couple of joints, man. Like, I can't wait to see what people think when they hear it.
All right.
You know, I got, you know, some A-list producers on it, and some amazing A-list features, like, you know, the homies up.
Right.
When I ask people, you know, 9 times out of 10, you know, my peers are like, of course, I got you. And I'm like, you know, I'm blessed that I may not be, you know, superstar famous, you know, Chris Brown, whatever, but, you know, I get the RZA gives a fuck about me. You know what I mean? So I'm cool with that, you know. I don't have the fans or the, you know, the numbers and the likes and all that shit, but, you know, that can change with one record or one situation. So I don't really concern myself with that. I'm not even verified on Instagram. I don't give a fuck. Nah, I got 85,000 people. This niggas with like 5,000 with a blue stamp. I tried to send the shit in once. There's like, but we need to confirm. I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you, Instagram. Really? I'm not me, nigga. But what do I need to do? I'm like, you know what? I was verified, but my mother loves me, my nigga. Fuck you and your blue check.
I ain't mad at you, player. I ain't mad at you. So, Dig, before when is it dropping?
So the first single is called 5 Mics. Play on words with the source 5 mics, but it's actually MIKES.
All right.
So the different mics.
Yeah.
Jordan, Jackson.
Yeah.
But there's 5 of them. Check that record out. That video will be dropping very soon.
All right, y'all make sure that y'all go ahead and y'all check for that.
I ain't clearing shit.
So until the next time, what's the Get Down?
What's the Get Down?
I'm on that brainwash, full rollout, anonymous, underplay to overplay, strategic, I promise. More dope brings more Negroes, watch them heroes, pro lethal, dream killers feast on people, Nubius in need, mine on the hunt, Paul Bear sharp through with gates and piston bumps, no excuses, that's a sin, back to the begin, muscle memory, pseudo respect and revenge, plays blindfolded, a bucket list with interest, forgiveness, the shadows and mirrors who handle business, legacy, all grind, no guest list, land in jurisdiction, make you bread prejudice for the purists and the tourists. Q sticky for ghetto jurors. Swing high, swing low. You forgot that we do this. Bank selection, smooth DR vibe. Underground icon. You have now been gentrified.